Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. And today I decided to switch it up a bit because we're in July, which means that 6 months have passed in this eventful year that is 2020. So even though this year has consisted of mainly downs, one thing for sure that is still of quality is the music that we've been getting from bands. And today I thought I'd talk about a few albums that I think have pushed the limits, gone above and beyond, and frankly could be considered album of the year contenders for this year. So if you enjoyed this kind of content, give it a like and subscribe to keep up to date. And of course, I will continue to still do reactions. I just thought I'd take a break from them and do something a bit different. Without wasting any more time, let's get into the first one. So for my first album I'd like to discuss is one that came out at the start of the year. Yes, there's a little bit of controversy behind it, but I'm not going to talk about the controversy, no point. And that's the album Immortal by the band Lorna Shore. So Lorna Shore was for me a band I mainly listened to back in the Tom Barber days and didn't really listen to much when CJ came on until they put out the single Immortal, which is also the title track of the album. Not gonna lie, I was blown away. I pretty much listened to it on complete repeat and I still do that to this day, almost 6 months later. The album is also mixed by Josh Schroeder, and if you don't know him, he's also worked on projects such as King 810, who also have new music that has been dropping lately. Moving on to the next album. Next album is one by a band that I didn't even know at all until just the start of this year, and that band is Loathe, and their album I Let It In and It Took Everything, which came out February 7th. Pretty much, I didn't even listen to it when it first came out. It was my friend who suggested it to me, and not gonna lie, as soon as I listened to it, I was a changed man. It was mind-blowing, this album. Pretty much, it's for anyone who is interested in like bands such as Deftones, Tesseract. It's kind of genty, but also has a lot of new metal elements, and also some of the lowest tuned guitars I've heard all year. It is very dynamic in nature. It has some very emotional sections on the album, amazing vocal performances, and production-wise, it was outstanding. This was mixed by George Lever. If you don't know him, he's also worked on the Sleep Token album that came out this year as well. Favorite track for me would have to be the title track, I Let It In and It Took Everything. It is very dynamic. It builds up to an insane climax with absolute insane riffages and gent moments. Said Pariah, the emotional lyrics that really help in pushing it as well. And overall, yeah, can't say much else about that one. That is Loathe. Next, we have the band End. Who is a supergroup consisting of members of Counterparts, Fit for an Autopsy, and many others. This is a side project by Will Putney, and if you don't know Will Putney, he is the mixing engineer behind bands such as Die Hard is Murder, Fit for an Autopsy, Knocked Loose, Counterparts, Every Time I Die, the list goes on. Pretty much this is a in-your-face, fuck you up sort of album. It is hardcore as hell, moments of grindcore. It is so emotional in its performance, and the guitar tones are insane, which is expected from Will Putney, who has some of the best guitar tones in the game. And it is no different on this album. It is powerful, it's fast, it's aggressive. It's only half an hour long, but that's all this album really needs to convey their message across. Pretty certain I'm going to be seeing this in December as well for like a full album of the year list. Favorite track on the album is Pariah. Just those lines, your fucking end, and that insane breakdown that just punches you in the face. Damn, it is good. This is fucking good. This is a great album. Go check it out. Next up, we have the band Code Orange with their record Underneath that came out March 13th. Damn, this album is insane. It's a very interesting album because it is showing off this whole idea of that bands can really push themselves into doing different things in an album. And this is a perfect example of that. It is industrial, it has metalcore elements, it has synthwave elements, old school metal as well. And what I also like about this is that it's showing that bands are becoming more comfortable using more elements from different genres that are far different to metal and using it in the repertoire in a great way. Another band in this field is Northlane, who put out their amazing album Aliens last year, and also this year with the new single that came out by Bring Me the Horizon, Parasite Eve, show that yes, it is very possible to make a heavy as hell album using non-metal elements. Yeah, and this album is no different. Moments that felt like Mick Gordon was involved, insane trap sections, the drum and bass, and all the industrial moments. This was mixed by Will Hip, and if you don't know, he also mixed the previous Code Orange album. Favorite track on the album? It's a bit of a throw between the title track Underneath, which was a song that has never. It is a song that pretty much exemplifies the idea of growing on you, because at the start I thought it was a bit cliche, I thought it was a bit mainstream of a song for a band such as this, and over time it became so catchy that stuck in my head for days, weeks, months after listening to it. And the other track would have to be The Easy Way, which for some reason, I don't know, I just really like that track. I can't explain it too well, but I just like the electronic elements, the guitar tones, and that interlude section. It was great. That was Code Orange, Underneath. Moving on, we have probably the most insane, heaviest, balls to the wall album I've heard this year so far, and that is the album Fearmonger by the band Beneath the Massacre. This is half an hour of absolute bludgeoning drums, the fastest guitar work I've heard in my time, and overall just utter heaviness. If you like bands such as Origin or Beyond Creation and similar bands of the sort, you're probably going to like this album because it's just so in your face. Drum work done by Anthony Barwan, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, who's also the drummer of Shadows of Intent and A Night in Texas, showing off his absolute insane fast drum playing, as well as the guitarist Chris doing his insane fucking guitar work. Yeah, it's an amazing album, definitely one of my highlights of the year. This has been mixed by Christian Donaldson, who has also mixed the Shadows of Intent album that came out last year, as well as Beyond Creation. He is also the person who's mixed the new Ingested record. I love the production on it. It was very crispy, it was very bright, the drums were huge, and everything was cutting. It was ridiculous. Great album. Favorite track off the album would have to be the song Trecherous, and not gonna lie, it's mainly for that ending breakdown, which is oh so gorgeous. Up next, we have a non-metal album. That's right, I actually listen to non-metal music as well. And I feel like this album just dropped probably at the perfect time considering the whole global insanity. And that is the album RTJ4 by the band Run the Jewels.
Look at all these slave masters posing on your dollar. Look at all these slave masters posing on your dollar. Look at all these slave masters.
Yes, it's not a metal album, but I must say it is a great progressive hip-hop album that has so many elements, so many great features on it, one of them including Josh Holmes from the band Queens of the Stone Age. Overall, if you're into something different that's not metal, but that still has its heavier moments, it has so many good things about this album. Definitely, I see it having a Grammy nomination. It was mixed by Joey Raya. My favorite track is the song Just, which if you listen to the track, you listen to the lyrics, you realize how relevant that song is in the current climate we are in. That's RTJ4 by Run the Jewels. Next, we are going up north and looking at the band Cabal with their album Drag Me Down, which came out in April. This is a band from Denmark. This is a band I've been following for quite some time now. I've been listening to them since the days when they put out the Purge EP. Heavy deathcore, thal band. It's raw. It's very similar, I could say, in terms of like production quality and heaviness to the band End, where it's very raw, it's aggressive, it's got like a level of distortion to it that gives it just an extra level of heaviness. Great production by Chris Kritzfeldt, who is also the guitarist of the band, and if you don't know him, he's also been involved with bands such as Ghost Iris, and Mull, to give you a couple of suggestions. When it comes to my favorite track off the album, it would have to be Tongues, for the fact that it just reminded me so much of Massacre, and I just loved that feel of it. Following up with that, we have the band Animate with their album Greyview. Now, Animate was a band I always had on my radar, but never really went into fully. With this album, it almost sort of fell under the radar for me again, until I listened to the song Cloud Cascade, and then I realized how great of a band this was. As an album, it's a super emotional, gent, metalcore vibe. Like, certain songs really got to me, others were just straight heaviness. They also have the vocalist from Aviana that stepped in for this project, and his vocals are great. They're amazing. They're super emotional. This was mixed by Ryan Len Johnson, and he did a great job. Everything's super clear. Reminded me a lot of like old school North Lane back in the days of Singularity, I think it was called, that album. Sorry, I'm just guessing from the top of my head. Favorite track is Shapeshifter, which features the vocalist from Silent Planet, and overall that was just very emotional song, very dynamic, a lot going on, and it has probably one of my favorite lyrics from the album, and that is "You showed me there's no love like lost," which is, I think, was a very powerful lyric and very much one that stayed in my head for a long time. But that is Greyview by Animate. And finally, we come to Trivium with What the Dead Men Say. This one is a very nostalgic one for me because I've been listening to Trivium since the days of Ascendancies. And to see the evolution of this band, kind of humbling, because, I don't know, it feels like watching your kid grow up into something amazing. This album is a perfect example of a band that's successfully able to combine both modern day elements of their sound with old school, more metalcore elements that they used to be like. And this all brought together with the modern day production, the improved training by all members of the band. And if you do compare Matt Heffy's vocals to the days of Ascendancy and now, you'll see it is night and day. They are two completely different. He's improved so much as a vocalist, and it shows in his performance on this album. There's heavy moments, there's more quieter, more melodic moments, there's your screams, your growls. Overall, it is a great album that I think everybody who has a thing for metalcore, heavy metal in general, should listen to. This was mixed by Josh Wilbur, great production on it. It was so crispy, it was so clear, everything was cutting, it was beautiful. And my favorite track off this was Scattering the Ashes. Why did I pick this? Well, it was just because I thought it was a nice dynamic track, because I do like dynamics, because I say that a lot in a lot of my videos. And overall, I think it just really encompassed what Trivium is as a band on both a writing and production side of things. But anyway, that is my list for favorite albums of the year so far. Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments, as well as put in the comments what your favorite albums of the year have been so far as well. And if you like this video, give it a like. If you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it so much. And with nothing else really to say, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.